It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're about to get inside the party poll at 888-909-1514. And here's a story about a group by the name of Lady A and a blues singer by the name of Lady A. Now, this is a bit confusing, but Lady A's name used to be Lady Antebellum until they decided to sue for the rights of the name Lady A, which originally was used by a black woman who was a blues singer. Now, you may or may not know who Lady Antebellum is, but their biggest song, as far as I know, is Need You Now. Take a listen.
It's a 1:15. I'm all alone and I need you now.
Now, I'm not going to play the entire song, but you may or may not know that song. The group's original name was Lady Antebellum. Antebellum was associated with the southern states, 18th century. It was pretty much compared to the plantation era, where lots of slaves were owned. But the group Lady Antebellum continued to use that name until there was an uprising after the death of George Floyd. They said, let's do something differently, and let's just go with the name Lady A. But the only caveat to that was it belonged to a blues singer by the name of Lady A. And we got Lady A on the phone right now. Lady A!
Singer, songwriter, producer. I see everything behind you, girl. How you doing?
You know how we do.
That's right, girl.
Welcome to the show, Lady A. How are you? Hey.
So do you own the name Lady A?
Lady A.
Boom.
Okay,
She is Lady A.
I hear that, but on the business side, legal.
On the business side, no.
Can you take that tattoo to the courthouse is what we want to know.
Right.
I did not trademark the name Lady A. Opa on my part, but it was the 80s. What can I say? I've never had any problem with it before, and I don't have a problem with it now. The problem I have is, and y'all, I'm going to quote them.
Okay.
All right, stick around because we want to hear this story, so don't move. So this is a story about Lady A, the blues singer, who had the name first, and Lady Antebellum, the country group, who decided to drop Antebellum because it was associated with racism. This is a tricky story, y'all. Stick around. We got more coming up. 10 after. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're inside the party poll at 888-909-1514. Now, listen, we're talking about a group by the name of Lady Antebellum who changed their name to Lady A. But the name was already used by a black blues singer by the name of Lady A. So they decided to sue her for the name Lady A, which she had been using for a very long time. Now, we got Lady A on the phone right now, 888-909-1514. And here's what they said. Read the quote, Lady A, please.
This is Lady Antebellum. As a band, we have strived for our music to be a refuge, inclusive of all. We've watched and listened more than ever these last few weeks, and our hearts have been stirred with conviction. Our eyes open wide to the injustices, inequality, and biases Black women, men have always faced and continue to face every day. Now blind spots we didn't even know exist have been revealed.
Now that you've read that statement from them, what are your thoughts, Lady A?
If you drop Antebellum and make it A because you say it's racist, it's still racist. My not having and what they wanted me to do was share the name. I've always known they were there. If you went and looked for me, it was Lady Antebellum on Google and it was Lady A. Just that simple, no problem. But to ask me to share this name with you that I have been using all this time, to ask them to share in a name when it still holds that connotation and think that I'm okay with it, I'm not going to do that. I do have certain rights,
Right?
Because I've been Lady A before they were born, and I'm not upset with them. What upsets me is I'm gonna hold you accountable. You said, I didn't say, you said that Black Lives Matter. You said that you were your eyes have been open and you're woke now. But you're only woke if I do what you want me to do, which is they wanted to do this song together and write this song together and be, show a cohesiveness, and we'd share this name. But my point, what I kept saying was, so what does that look like? And everything I said in threes, to the lawyers, to the artists, to my team, I said, what does that look like? What does sharing this name look like? Because as soon as you put Lady A out there, you're going to wipe me off of social media because you have more fans than I do. And I'm not mad at you for having more fans, but I have fans too. And mine are no less than yours just because I don't have as many as you do.
Lady A, is there a way, to work this out to your benefit? Is it a way to come out on top with all of this? Yeah.
I'm already benefiting from it.
That's a great question. And I heard that you asked them for a dollar amount. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. We're talking to Lady A, the blues singer, who was sued by Lady Antebellum for the name Lady A. Don't move. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We'll be back in 10 minutes. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. Inside the party poll at 888-909-1514. We're talking to Lady A. She's a blues singer who had her name pretty much taken away. She was sued by the group Lady Antebellum for the use of the name Lady A because Antebellum was racist and they didn't want to be associated with that anymore. So now they're in a bit of an entanglement, if you will.
Lady A, is there a way, to work this out to your benefit? Is it a way to come out on top with all of this? Yeah.
I'm already benefiting from it.
Okay. How you benefiting? We want to know, girl.
Yeah, so check it out. So I've had fans before. I've traveled internationally. I already had fans. I mean, not at 40,000, but the fans I have are mine. I'm responsible to them.
Okay.
This is why I know God is in this, because the day I found out was June 11th. The day I found out that they were changing their name to Lady Antebellum, I could have been just like the other Lady A's out there. There's a Lady A gospel artist out there. We've never had a problem.
Pause. You said the day they were changing their name from
Lady Antebellum
to Lady A.
Lady A.
Okay,
because
gotcha.
Lady A is a nickname. Lady A is not a name that they have published any CDs under.
Right.
Till recently. So when I found this out, now anybody else, and this is God, anybody else probably would have ignored it and went on. Rolling Stone magazine called me. Why would they call me? They called
you and said what?
They called me and said, have you seen, we'd like a response to this. I hadn't seen it.
Wow.
I had just, my phone had been on. I work during the day.
Okay.
I have a day job. I'm hustling. I got my grind on for the last 30 years. I've been a musician and worked. And so my sister called and said, have you seen Facebook? And I said, no. And I went on Facebook and there it was. And 10 minutes later, Rolling Stone magazine called me. So for me, I'm in a place right now to help others. This is not about me. This is about standing up for everybody else, for all Black people, indigenous folks of this land, to people of color who have had their names, their culture, their language, their music taken from them.
Absolutely.
Because of privilege.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Lady A. Could it be in your advantage or to your advantage or beneficial to you and your brand to have joined with the group and to have shared the name and to perhaps performed with them or wrote a song with them? Could that have be beneficial to your career as well?
And that's a great and a fair question, George. We're talking to Lady A, and she had the name first until the group Lady Antebellum wanted to switch up because they thought Antebellum was racist. So they just wanted to shorten it to the name Lady A. But it just so happened this Black blues singer had been using this name before they were born. We're going to come back with more of her in 10 minutes. Don't move. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn, and this is the tale of the two Lady A's. The only difference is the Black blues singer Lady A had the name Lady A before Lady Antebellum wanted to change their racist name to Lady A. Now they've been talking to one another, trying to make something happen. And right before the break, George, you had a question.
Could it be in your advantage or to your advantage or beneficial to you and your brand to have joined with the group and to have shared the name and to perhaps performed with them or wrote a song with them? Could that have be beneficial to your career as well?
Yes. You know what? Because for me, I never wanted to share the name. Now, I'm going to be clear about that because I kept asking, as I said, what does that look like? I'm very detailed because I have been in this business for a long time. I'm a Black woman dealing with producers, dealing with festivals. You have got to be on your game. So I kept saying, what does that look like if we share the name? Because my Seattle producer, John, that is on, and my Mississippi producer kept saying, the algorithms are not going to be in our favor. What does that look like if we're sharing the name?
That makes sense.
Yeah, because all you have to do is tell me what it's going to look like. But the first contract that came back said, we're going to give our best efforts to make
best
sure.
efforts.
So that was the first contract.
Yeah.
So I
Scratch. Red line.
Yeah, red line that. You got to red line that.
So I said, and then they got on the Zoom call. We got on the Zoom call. And again, talking with the artist, talking artist to artist. Let's get the lawyers out of it. Let's talk artist.
Nice.
Because I'm willing to do that because I am talking to my team and I said, John's been with me for 20 plus years. Dexter Allen's been with me for 10 plus years.
What did you ask for and how did they respond to you?
Again, I ask the same questions all the time. What does coexistence look like? What does coexistence look like?
But did you tell them what it looked like to you?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. So
okay.
For the people in the back, what does that look like? They dismissed how you just, I ask you a question and then you just go, and the weather is so wonderful.
Wow.
It's what it made me feel like, because you dismissed the questions. The lawyer dismissed the questions.
You want the specifics that they couldn't give you in regards to how are we going to do this together? They didn't have the specifics. They just want you to trust them that we're going to take care of you and we'll give you a deal that will be beneficial for both. Is that how that went?
Said, at one point they said, we're going to ensure that you don't disappear off social media.
How are you going to do that?
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's my question. How are you going to do that? I need details. I need to know how that's going to work. So the next contract that came back said, we're going to do our best efforts. So then John, my team, we started making suggestions, John, why don't you talk about
the main thing we wanted to do? So coexistence, what they were talking about, right? But our thing is you can't have Lady A apples and Lady A apples in the same store, right?
That's right.
Somebody's apples is not going to get bought. So even with this, like Lady A was saying, they kept saying best efforts. But what we wanted was, like you all are saying, a definition. It's kind of like when you go and buy a used car. When you go and buy a used car and you see like the door handle isn't working and you say, hey, the door handle's not working. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. We're going to fix that. And the whole time you test drive and the door handle ain't working. No, we're going to fix that. So you drive off the lot and you come back to get it fixed. And you say, I'm here to get the door handle fixed. And they go, what door handle? So the contracts they were proposing was all in their favor. Now, They were proposing things like, Lady A could do a song with them. But what we proposed was, why doesn't Lady Antebellum bring Lady A under their management, right? Or under their record label, so she can have access to all of their resources to help her rebrand. Right? Because that would have been a win-win now, because now Lady Antebellum would have had access to Lady A's fans and Lady A would have had access to Lady Antebellum's fans. They could have been doing this whole tour, right? And it would have been great for everybody. But Lady Antebellum was only looking out for them and their brand, not Lady A and her brand. So it,
right.
So where are we now?
We even said, you can be Lady A, the band, and I'll be Lady A, the artist. They wasn't hearing none of that. They had already decided what they wanted to do. They had decided they wanted me to do this little I'm woke tour with the Black girl.
Let me ask you this. Are you concerned that perhaps you will lose this case? And that if you lose this case and Lady Annabelle are able to use Lady A, that you'll at that point have no offers at that point? You can't go on the road. You can't do a song, that all of that stuff that you may turn down now. Are you concerned perhaps that you may not come out on the top of this deal?
Okay, we want you to answer that question when we come back. And also, for the rights for them to use your name, you presented a deal to them with a dollar amount. Let's talk about that, because it's worth the millions. Don't move. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're back with Lady A in 10 minutes. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're inside the party poll at 888-909-1514. We're talking to a blues singer by the name of Lady A. She's been using this name before the group Lady Antebellum was born, and they decided to drop Lady Antebellum because it was associated with racism. 18th century, antebellum and plantation era pretty much one and the same. So since the big uprising, they said they don't want to be associated with racism anymore. So they went after Lady A to sue her for the name.
Let me ask you this. Are you concerned perhaps that you may not come out on the top of this deal?
No, I'm not concerned. God's got this. This is not just about me. This is about, like I said, this is about people who have been in this predicament before. This is about big business always running over Black, indigenous people of this land and people of color. I compared it to Black Wall Street. Soon as we get something, they want to. This is one time I'm not going to allow somebody to take it. And if you do take it, it's going to be a hard road for you to get to.
Speaking of that hard road, we did see that you said to them, you know what, $5 million for me and $5 million for a cause. Did you take that to the table to them?
Let's get the check. When's the check coming?
What's the response on that?
Just give praise for just a moment. You are the first people to say $5 million to me and $5 million to charity.
That's right.
Everybody else wants to say, I'm trying to extort $10 million.
No.
This is how it went down. When the contracts kept going back and forth, right? I got a life. I have a community. I got church. I got a job I need to get back to.
Mm-hmm.
And all this is distracting. It's very distracting. And I mean, I run a panel called The Truth is Loud, which is my single came out. The Truth is Loud. It's for white allies and their roles in 2020. It's to help teach white folks how to be allies. So when the contracts kept going back and forth, I talked to my team and I said, look, if I have to rebrand myself, which is one of the things we told them that, we could do, I just need some help. If you're going to be an ally, you need to put power behind your words.
That's right.
Being an ally, you might have to give up something. That's a true ally. This is not just about me. This is about more than me. And I hope that I'm making my people proud, my parents, our ancestors that came before us, people out there that are struggling. I'm going to stand until God tells me to do different.
And get that music out. How can we get the CDs? You better these interviews. You gotta let us know.
Thank you to everybody people have sent me messages saying I had to dig for 30 minutes, but I found you. Thank you on Instagram. So you can buy my music at LadyABabyBlues.com. If you want to be an ally and want to be on my August 1st panel, you can go to thetruthisloud.info. You'll get information on being an ally. Black folks, indigenous people of color, and people, my people of color, y'all can get some self-care information on dealing, because we are traumatized. I don't care what people say. I work in race and social justice on my day job. We are traumatized daily by what happens to us, but nobody will steal my joy.
That's right.
So y'all, thank you so much for having us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon, girl. Okay.
Bless you.